Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 22nd October 2025. So let's get started. Before getting started, let us just see what are the topics of the day. So first topic, it is about new H1B visa fee will not apply for change of status. So actually this article is talking about update regarding H1B visa exceptions. So here you have to know about what is the change which made by the US government recently regarding this H1B visa, and now this article is talking about exceptions and we have to see this. And this topic is very important from your economy point of view and even from your GS paper 2 under international relations. And next topic is net FDI inflow fell by 159% in month of August. So recently RBI came up with a report, and this report saying that yes, there is decreased net FDI flow. So here you have to know about what is this FDI, what are the different types of FDI, and what is the impact of decreasing of FDI on Indian economy. And again this topic is important from GS paper 3 under economy. And next topic is Diwali or Deepavali fireworks sent Delhi air quality inching to a 5-year low. So as you all know that recently strong steps were taken by Supreme Court and as well as Delhi government to curb this air pollution in Delhi. But even though what happened, there is deterioration of air quality index in Delhi. So you have to see what are the reasons behind it. And next topic is India, a symbol of stability in a world going through crisis. So actually our Prime Minister, he made a statement that yes, India is a symbol of stability. So here you have to see why our Prime Minister gave that statement and what are the reasons which support this statement. And this topic is very important from our economy point of view from GS paper 3. And next topic is FATF may discuss state sponsorship of terrorism, Pakistan entities in focus. So actually this article is talking about one international body, that is FATF. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force, and is going to discuss about state-sponsored terrorism, and they are especially focusing on Pakistan. So just see about basic facts regarding this FATF. Whenever FATF is giving final report, then we can see what FATF did. And this topic is important from your international relations from GS paper 2. And next topic is unreliable air and noise data, real-time deception. So this article is talking about air pollution and noise pollution because of this Diwali festival, and we have to see what are the measures we can take to control this air and noise pollution. So these are the topics of the day, guys. So now let us see the first article. Look at the title, guys, carefully. Title says new H1B visa fee will not apply for change of status, says US government. So what is the keyword? The keyword is H1B visa, right? So this article is talking about H1B visa. So here what are the basics that you need to know? First you have to see about different types of visa given by US government. Yes, because H1B visa is one type of visa which is issued by US government for non-citizens of USA. And next you have to see recently why it is in news. That is context. So recently what happened? US government came up with the changes regarding what? Regarding fee on application of H1B visa. So earlier it was like just $4,000 to $5,000, but recently it increased its fee to how much? $1 lakh at a time, and they have to pay in single time payment. So single time, if you want to get this H1B visa, that employer has to pay $1 lakh to US government, then only they will issue this H1B visa. And now this present article is talking about exemptions. So who are exempted from this hike fee? So you have to see this. And next you have to see why US government came up with this kind of imposition of this H1B visa restrictions. So what are the reasons? Can you guys tell me? Online students, tell me in the comment box. So why US came up with this imposition of restrictions on this H1B visa? Yes, for protection of their domestic people or their own citizens, and they want to limit entry of foreigners into their country, especially which country citizens are benefited with this H1B visa? Especially Indian, 60% of H1B visa are allocated to Indians, and next is China. So now these two countries are going to be affected with these restrictions, which will limit our Indians entry into this US. And next, any other reasons why US is imposing that? Okay, now you guys tell me, because of these restrictions on this H1B visa, what is the impact on India, guys? I'm not talking about impact on USA, I'm talking about impact on India. So is there any impact on India? Yes or no? So if yes, what is that? Tell me. Online students, tell me in the comment box. What is the impact? So Indians, after going to US, they will work there and they will send certain amount back to our country, that is called as remittances. So this remittance will be going to affect next. So who will leave India and who wants to go to US? Talented people. So now this talented people will remain in India. Yes or no? So because of this, we can focus on R&D, that is research and development in India, and we can improve even technology now in our country. Next, we can prevent brain drain. Okay, we can also prevent brain drain now. So all these are the dimensions that you have to see, and let us see in detail, guys. So if you see the context, it says that US government under presidential proclamation which issued by Donald Trump on September 19, that he said $1 lakh fee is imposed on this H1B visa. And these petitions are going to come into effect from September 21st onwards. And especially any employer who want to employ other than the citizens of America, so they have to apply for this H1B visa. So if they are applying for this H1B visa under Form 129 petition, they have to give the proof of payment of this $1 lakh fee once at a time, and then only they will be getting this H1B visa. So there are certain exemptions. So actually any H1B petitions filed before this 21st September, they will be not having this new rules on them. Okay, first one is they have to apply before the September 1. So this is one exception. And second one is holders of previously issued and valid H1B visa who can continue to travel in and out of US without fee applied. So even already who are staying in US, who got this H1B visa also, on them also this is not applicable. And next one is extremely in rare case by case exemption, which is granted by Secretary of Homeland Security of national interest reasons. Then yes, there are certain exemptions can be provided by the US government, but it is a very rare case. So in these three cases, they are having exemption of this fee hike on this H1B visa, guys. So what is H1B visa? It is a non-immigrant visa, and through this visa, now US companies, they will allow to employ workers who are outside USA people. Okay, so what is the intent of this H1B visa provision is, it will help companies of US to hire people who are skilled workers from outside USA. Especially if you see in which occupations US will be giving this H1B visa is, especially in the fields like technology, finance, engineering, architecture. So in these areas, only H1B visa will be given by US. And what is the eligibility? In order to get this H1B visa, you need to have a valid job offer from US company. Okay, and US employer should file for this H1B visa. And next one is they need to have a proof of bachelor degree or equivalent experience in that field. And next one is US employer has to show that there is a lack of skilled labor in US. So because of that, I am employing the people outside USA. So these are the 3 eligibility criteria to get H1B visa, and you have to remember this. On this eligibility criteria also, UPSC can give a prelims based question, guys. So what are the features? H1B visa is valid for 3 years, and they can also file for the extension for 3 years. That means total H1B visa can be given by 6 years, and there is no limit to the number of H1B visas issued by US government. And this one is after around this 6 years, so the people who went to US, they have to apply for the green card. That is nothing but lawful permanent residency card. Okay. Yes. Why US came up with this policy? So this will become a mains question, guys. So you may get a mains question like recently there is increased restrictions on H1B visa of US. So what might be the reasons that contributed for them, and what measures India can take to reduce the impact on our economy? So in that way you may get mains based question, guys. You have to be very much careful. So if you see regarding the reasons regarding why this has implemented, first one here is it wants to prevent employers from using H1B visa to hire low paid foreign workers. So actually what happened, whenever US is giving this H1B visa, now employers, that is companies in US, they are hiring this outside US, that is US workers. We are not now hiring these US workers or American workers. Now we are going for hiring of cheap other countries' labor. So because of this, what is happening, there is increased unemployment levels in America. To curb that, they impose these restrictions. And second one is to protect American workers. To prioritize US job seekers by increasing the cost of hiring foreign talent, they will encourage domestic hiring. For example, if every employer has to pay $1 lakh, is that easy for that company? It will be very tough. So that what happened, rather than going for hiring of foreign nationals, they will go for hiring of Americans. So it is one example of American protectionism policy. And this one is ensure high skilled talent. A part of border reforms to reserve H1B visas, they want to focus on the best of the best temporary foreign workers. And this one here is support wage increases. So actually US is planned to come up with the raising of prevailing wage levels in this H1B workers. So because of this, they want to offer these jobs for the Americans itself, so that they will be getting high paid salaries. And this one is, as you know, this is a part of economic protectionism. They want to reduce their reliance on foreign labor, and they want to increase their dependency on American workers. Okay. You see this next article, guys. What's the title? Net FDI inflow fell by 159% in August. RBI data reveals. So what is the keyword? Keyword in this article is FDI. What is the full form of FDI, guys? Foreign direct investment. So what this article is saying? So there is decreased foreign direct investment in where? In India. Who said this? RBI came up with a report, and this report said that there is decreased FDI in India. So this topic is very important from your economy point of view, which comes in a GS paper 3. So first of all, you have to know what is this full form of FDI, that is foreign direct investment, and what does this foreign direct investment means. And next we have two types of foreign direct investment, that is gross, and next one is net. So this article is talking about net foreign direct investment. So for that you have to know what exactly this gross and net means. And next you have to see how this FDI comes into India. We have two different routes. So those two routes are, first one is automatic route, and second one is government route. So you have to see what are these two routes. And next, now this article is saying that there is decreased FDI in our country. That means you have to see what are the impacts on our economy. Okay, so in all these first 3 points, you may get prelims question, and the last point you may get mains question. Now you guys tell me, what is the impact of decreasing of FDI on Indian economy? All students, tell me in the comment box. What is the impact? Do we have any impact or not? Yes or no? Yes. Then what is the impact that we are going to have whenever there is decreased FDI? Investment is decreasing in our country. That means foreign nationals, they are not showing interest to invest in our country. So if we are not getting investment, do our companies have the funds? No. If there is no funds, can we go for good production in the country? Obviously, no. And because of that, what happens? There will be decreasing of unemployment or not? Increasing of unemployment. Employment opportunities we can't create. And what happens if there is no employment opportunities? Increasing of poverty, increasing of hunger. Can we reach our target of third largest economy, 5 trillion economy by 2030? And again, we are going to miss that goals. Okay? Yes, now you guys have to think why, what are the reasons why there is decreasing of FDI in India? What might be the reasons? High taxes. How? Honest students, tell me what are the reasons why there is decreasing of FDI in our country. Okay, I'll give you one example. So based on that, think guys. So if you have money, if you want to do any investment, what will you think? Why you will invest anywhere? You need to have proper returns. Yes or no? If you have returns, then only you will invest. If you are not having returns, will you invest in that? That is a basic thing. So if you are doing investment anywhere, you want to get profits. So in the same way, foreign nationals are investing in India, they also want to get profits. Okay. So here think in that dimension and tell me why there is decreasing of FDI in our country. So what is happening in India which leads to decreasing of profits of other countries or foreign nations in India? What is happening in India? Yes, we have trade deficit. Next, that is one problem. Next, think. Yes, geopolitical tensions. We don't know what happens in the future. For example, Russia-Ukraine war is going on. For example, Israel-Gaza is going on. And recently issues between India and Pakistan, Operation Sindoor. So Operation Sindoor went in month of April, right? So because of that, what happened? That led to increased tensions in the people. If you are investing in India, we don't know where this Pakistan go and drop the bomb. So because of that, their entire investment will be like waste or lost. So because of that, there is decreased investment. And next one, recently we came up with GST reforms, GST 2.0. What it said, we decreased its slabs and we have how many slabs now? 2 slabs with additional 40% slab. So because of this, there is initial uncertainties what it is going to happen. No one knows. So because of that also, that led to decreased FDI. Next. Yes, multiple sanctions on India. Why? Because India is having trade with Russia. We are getting oil and we are getting defense, and we are also going to finalize a defense equipment or defense related agreements with this Russia. So because of this, there is high uncertainty about trade with India. So because of all these multiple reasons, there is decreased FDI in our country, guys. Have you understood? And now let us see this in detail. So title says, according to Reserve Bank Bulletin, India's net foreign direct investment turned negative for the first time. Now we have negative FDI. FDI is going back from our country. We are recording negative growth and there is negative of minus $0.62 billion of investment that had been lost from India. So what are the reasons? The first one is moderation in gross inflows. Actually here, because of global uncertainties and even US tariffs and geopolitical tensions, what is happening? Investments are going back from our country. That is the first reason. And next one is rise in repatriation and disinvestment. Actually, what is happening in our countries, we have public sector undertakings. They are nothing but government owned companies. So they are in loss. What we are going for? We are going for selling the share of these government or like private sector undertakings with the private. So what happens? This phenomena is called as disinvestment, right? So because of this disinvestment, what is happening? the profit is going towards the hands of private people compared to that of government, because we are sharing this, we are selling these shares to this private people, right? So because of this, what is happening? There is uncertainty in the market. And even after this COVID-19 pandemic also, repatriations are increasing and disinvestments are increasing in our country. So because of this, foreign investors, they are not having trust on our Indian government and government related industries or sectors. So that is the one important reason. And next one here is outward investments and remittances. So actually government came up with lots of schemes regarding especially supporting of higher education in other countries. So because of this, the net outflows are more from our country. So because of that also, there is lack of investor confidence in India. And next one here is, there is depreciation of rupee value. So $1 is equal to 88 rupees now. So because of this depreciation, what happens? Obviously, it will be having impact on the rupee stability in the international market. So again, because of that reason, so there is no proper confidence in the people. Okay, so what is the impact, guys? The first one here is, whatever the capital we have, what are the funds we have in different manufacturing sectors or service sectors, that will be reduced. That is leading to this reduced capital availability. And next one here is, the foreign inflow will be obviously decline in our country. So because of that, we can't maintain good forex reserves in our country. So that will be next problem. And next one is, furthermore rupee depreciation will happen and even volatility of rupee value in the market can happen. And next one here is, different sectors which are dependent on this FDI like manufacturing, like services, will be getting affected. And next one here is, obviously that will leads to the decreasing or erosion of investor confidence in our Indian economy, guys. Okay, so these are the impacts. And if you see basics regarding this FDI, 90% of FDI in India is now under automatic route. That means normally the investments through equity investments by a person resident outside India will be investing in our Indian companies. So actually what is FDI is nothing but the people who are living outside India, especially NRIs or citizens of other countries, they will try to invest in our country. Either it may be in the private sector, either it may be in the government sector. That kind of investments are called as foreign direct investments. And we have two types, gross FDI and net FDI. Gross means nothing but the total, how much total that we are getting is called as gross. Net is nothing but Indians also investing in other countries, right? They also become foreign direct investment. So how these other countries are investing minus our Indians who are investing in other countries, that is called as net. Okay. And next one here is, how this FDI comes into our country. What are the routes? As I said, we have automatic route and we have government route. Automatic route is nothing but there is no requirement. Actually, there is no requirement of RBI or any government of India permission. Without this permission itself, directly other country people can invest in our country. In where, especially there are certain sectors where 100% FDI is allowed. In such sectors, so there is no requirement of prior permission of RBI or government of India. So those sectors are, for example, agriculture and animal husbandry, coal and lignite, exploration of oil and natural gas, airports, industrial parks, telecom service. In this trading, we have 100% FDI which is allowed. In that sector, directly this persons who wants to invest, they can come and invest. But in certain areas, we require prior permission of this government of India or RBI. That route is called as government route. Okay, only in the strategically very important sectors, they will keep, for sure we need permission. So for that kind of entry is called as government entry. And actually government is taking lots of steps to boost this FDI in India. Please make a note. First one is, FDI policy were relaxed in different sectors like in defense, insurance, petroleum, gas, telecom sector. And actually even our Union Budget 2025 also, our government announced that there is increased FDI sectoral cap for insurance sector for 74% to 100 for companies. And this one is, government came up with this investor friendly environment. So for that, government came up with one act called as Jan Vishwas Act of 2023. And next one is government came up with promotion agreements. India signed lots of bilateral agreements with different countries so that we can attract foreign investment in our country. And even we have this TEPA, that is Trade Economic Partnership Agreement, and even free trade agreements. So with such kind of agreements, we are focusing on attracting of more foreign investment into our country. And this one is government came up with this competitive cooperative federalism. So through this, government is providing rankings so that if you are having good rankings, obviously we can attract good investment into our country. And even government came up with lots of institutional mechanisms. For example, we have fast track investments through project development cells, and different ministries are also having their own concern cells to attract this foreign investment into country. And not only that, government came up with lots of schemes like Skill India, Make in India, Stand Up India. So through that schemes, especially government is improving the skill and as well as improving the production in our country, so that obviously we can attract this investment into our country. So this is about in detail regarding this article, guys. Okay, now let us see the next article. See the title. Look at the title. Deepavali fireworks send Delhi air quality inching to 5-year low. So what is this article talking about? Diwali celebrations, bursting of firecrackers. What happens? Because of bursting of firecrackers, more air pollution, more noise pollution, especially that air pollution leads to decreasing or deteriorating of air quality in Delhi. So before starting of Diwali itself, government and Supreme Court took lots of steps. What are they? What we discussed in our earlier classes. First one is, yes, ban of traditional crackers. Only Supreme Court said people has to go for firing of green crackers only. And even Delhi government also said the vendors that they have to sell only green crackers, not traditional crackers. Why? Because if you are firing these green crackers, it will reduce pollution by 30%, and even noise pollution is very less. So traditional crackers will create sound around 170 to 180 decibels, but these green crackers will have the ability to generate sound of 100 to 110 decibels only. That is one important reason. And second important measure which taken by Supreme Court is they allowed people to fire these crackers only in specific time, morning 6 to 7 and evening 8 to 10. Only they allowed to burst these crackers for 3 hours on this day only, morning 1 hour and evening 1 hour. So do these people follow these rules and regulations? Till 12, till 1, even without sleeping night also, they'll go for this bursting of crackers. So because of that reason, what happened? Because of violations. So actually violations there in these two areas. First one is people didn't follow this timings of 8 to 10. Even the midtime also, midnight also they went for bursting of crackers. And second one is the vendors who are selling these crackers, they didn't sell this green crackers, they sell this traditional crackers. So because of this violations, what happened? Again we have impact on our environment, guys. So from which subject we can see this? We can see the subject from environment and ecology from GS paper 3, and even crackers, chemicals, which chemicals they'll use, which chemical creates which color. So for sound, which chemicals, so all those things that you have to see from your basic science part, guys. Okay, now let us see the context. Diwali celebrations led to a significant deterioration of Delhi's air quality, and it pushed the category. So recently we discussed in yesterday's class only. So because of bad air quality, very poor air quality, which GRP stage has been implemented in yesterday's class? Okay, stage 2 GRAP, that is Graded Response Action Plan, stage 2 has been implemented. But today's article is saying that now the air quality is not very poor, it is severe category. Okay, now which GRAP has to be implemented? How many stages do we have? 4 stages. Now which has to implement it? GRAP stage 3 and stage 4 should be implemented. Clear? So in this way, every day's article, if you are following up, you can have a holistic view of what is happening and what government is doing. Clear? So what are the reasons? The first one is the primary trigger was widespread use of firecrackers during this Diwali. Because of this bursting of firecrackers, harmful pollutants like PM 2.5, PM is nothing but particulate matter. Particulate matter is nothing but, if you take any vehicle, whenever you are driving vehicle, from the silencer, this black color soot will come. No? So in that soot we have like fine particles, black color ash carbon particles. They are called as particulate matter. So based on the size we have PM 2.5 and PM 10. So PM 2.5 is very fine powder and PM 10 is somewhat big. Okay. So because of this bursting of firecrackers, PM 2.5 levels and PM 10 levels, and as well as sulfur dioxide and heavy metals like barium, strontium, concentration had been increased in this air. That led to air pollution. And Supreme Court gave a directive that allowing only green crackers, because they will emit 30 to 50% of lesser pollutions and with limited time slots from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the night and 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning. But violations were rampant, so people didn't follow this at all. Okay, so because they continued bursting off until late night. So because of this, there is increased level of pollution in the air. So other than this primary factors, there are other factors also which contributing for this pollution now. So first one is vehicular emissions. Second one is about this stubble burning in which area? Punjab, Haryana and Western UP. Because of this movement of this winds, they will go to this Delhi and that will create havoc in this Delhi region. And next one is now in this Diwali time, so it is nothing but the starting of winter, yes. So there is dropping of temperature. So whenever dropping of temperature happens, what happens? At the ground surface, the temperature will be very low. And if you are going up, temperature will increases. This phenomena is called as temperature inversion. So whenever we are having low temperature at the surface, what happens? The pollutants will be blocked at the surface. They will not go up. Okay. So because of this reason, what is happening here? Increased dense fog and smog in these regions. And next one here is construction dust, industrial activities. They are also causing pollution in this Delhi region. And actually, what are the rules and regulations? What are the acts we have? What are this bodies like CPCB? What is CPCB? Central Pollution Control Board. So what are the laws we have? We are not properly enforcing that laws. Not implementing, not enforcing. So because of this, what happened? There is significant violations. Because of that, increased pollution in this region. So these are the things that you have to remember from this article, guys. Yesterday only I gave mains question regarding this GRAP, right? Okay, so because of that, I am not going to discuss that GRAP today. So see this next article, guys. India, a symbol for stability in a world going through crisis. So actually, world is going through crisis. So directly, our Prime Minister wrote an open letter to citizens on this Diwali, guys. So here you have to see about what are the things he highlighted in this letter, and you have to know what is the reason why our Prime Minister gave the statement. India is stable, but other countries in the world are like going through crisis, but India is not facing crisis. Will you accept this or not? Will you accept this? Are we not facing any problems in our economy? Yes or no? Okay, let us see this article. So after this class, please think and tell me. Online students, tell me what is your opinion regarding the statement made by this Prime Minister. And this topic is very important from your GS paper 3, guys. And actually, you may get questions in your mains regarding this. Like, what are the conditions, what are the reasons which made India a symbol for stability in the world as other countries are going into crisis? You have to know the reasons, what are the cited reasons of this Prime Minister regarding the statement. It's very important. So if you see context, it says that in an open letter to citizens of Diwali, Prime Minister Narendra Modi cited the success of Operation Sindoor, and he said that we are fighting against this left-wing extremism or Naxalism. And also recently we came up with this GST 2.0, that is called as New Generation GST. Because of this, there is stability in our economy. Are we fighting against left-wing extremism? So many articles that you are seeing in the recent past, recently around 261 Maoists, they had been surrendered in this Chhattisgarh, right? And many people, they left arms. That means, yes, we are very much near to this reaching of target of eliminating Naxalism in our country by 2026 case. And even we know, because of this GST reforms that led to decreased prices, especially our Prime Minister said that we are going to have double festive bonanza because of this new GST 2.0 reforms. Yes or no? Okay, and he said that we are very much success in this Operation Sindoor. Why we did this Operation Sindoor? Regarding what? Retaliation of what? In retaliation of Pahalgam terror attack. That means government is taking lots of steps for improving of safety and security in our country. That means our Prime Minister is showcasing that India is famous or India is known for maintaining stability. So even the what are the wars which are going on across the border, whatever the countries with which we are sharing border, so we are trying to maintain territorial integrity and sovereignty. So India is also showing zero tolerance towards terrorism. So that is the thing he mainly highlighted. And if you see the elements of his letter, the first reference he made is Operation Sindoor. So especially it is like a military operation to Lord Rama's fight against injustice in Ramayana. So he framed like that Operation Sindoor is nothing but normally we showed zero tolerance towards terrorism, and he quoted that how this Lord Rama fight against injustice in Ramayana, in the same way India is also fighting for injustice. So you can use that kind of statements while you're writing your essays and as well as your answers, so that you can create something interesting. And this one is, he also said that we had lots of achievements in security and development. And he said that in this Diwali, so see the line what he used. He noted that Diwali 2025 was special as lamps were lit in the districts freed from Naxalism, Maoist terrorism, and many individuals abandoning violence to join mainstream development and express faith in the constitution. So you have to use that kind of framework. So here, especially the areas, the people who left the arms, they are celebrating this Diwali. And especially this Diwali brings light in these areas which had been affected by this left-wing extremism. And he also said that many people, they are freed with their arms because they are having faith in our Indian constitution. So like that you have to use certain kind of keywords in your answers, guys. And next one, he said that he also highlighted that second Diwali after this Ram temple's construction in Ayodhya. He also referred that GST Bachat Utsav, where GST rate cuts on daily essentials and consumer goods saved citizens thousands of crores. So actually there is also one more article which is there in our newspaper which shows that because of this GST cuts, there is increased consumer demand in the market during this festival, guys. Okay, so he said that yes, this GST Bachat Utsav that led to increased demand for the goods in the market, especially during this Diwali season. And he also gave one call to action. He said that to promote harmony, to promote unity, we have to focus on Swadeshi. Try to buy Indian made goods, not other country made goods. Okay, and he said that Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, unity in diversity, and we have to respect knowledge, we have to maintain cleanliness, and we have to prioritize health, sanitation. We have to reduce oil use by 10% because oil is one important major cause of heart related disease. You know what happens if you are consuming excess oil and fat? That will deposit in the blood vessels, that will lead to the formation of atherosclerosis, that will lead to in turn heart strokes, heart attacks. So he said we have to reduce oil and try to do yoga, because after this Modi came into power only we promoted this yoga, and we are celebrating International Yoga Day on this June 21st. So he said that yes, if you do yoga you will be having obviously health benefits, at least practice doing yoga. Okay, so all these are the main important points of his letter to citizens, guys. You people have to know that. And next one is what are the reasons he cited why India is stable. So first one, he said that India is the world's 5th largest economy in the world now, right? So even though we are having certain slowdowns because of COVID-19 pandemic, because of demonetization, because of GST reforms, so we are maintaining a proper economy. So we are having economic resilience. And second thing, he said that India maintains balanced relations with major powers like Russia, US, Quad, BRICS, etc. So because of this, we are also attracting good foreign investment into our country. And next one here is, yes, you are also focusing on internal security, especially we did this Operation Sindoor, and we are continuing anti-Naxal operations in different states which are affected by this Naxalism, which are called as Red Corridor. And we are trying to focus on maintaining of internal stability, and we are trying to reduce violence in our country. And he also said that yes, we are also always social and culture sensitive. like we are focusing on vaccination. So if you are focusing on vaccination, obviously we can prevent some dreadful diseases. Especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, government provided vaccines to almost all the people, and not only Indians, but even India exported this vaccines like Covishield to other countries, especially African countries. Okay, so in this way, government said that we are also providing humanitarian aid for the countries which are in need. And even recently, Afghanistan, which had been affected by this earthquake, and for that Afghanistan also, India said we are going to provide humanitarian aid, right? And next one, he said that yes, different countries are facing different issues like lack of food security and even lack of stability, and even economies are not stable in different countries and geopolitical conditions are going on. But despite of all these, in this globalized era where one country is dependent on other country, we are maintaining good economy. So because of this, the statement given by our Prime Minister is India is stable compared to other countries, they are facing crisis. Clear? And see this article, guys. FATF may discuss state sponsorship of terrorism, Pakistan entities in focus. Just here you are going to see about only FATF. Whenever this FATF meet done and whenever it give the highlights, again we'll once again see that article. So you may get prelims based question regarding this FATF. It is very important topic, guys. So what is the full form of this FATF? Financial Action Task Force. This Financial Action Task Force, it is an intergovernmental policy making and standard setting body, and why we came up with this body is only for two reasons. First one is to counter terrorism and to counter money laundering. What is the meaning of money laundering? Conversion of black money into white money. Okay, so which mechanisms they will use there? Hawala transactions, shell companies, etc. Right. So to combat this money laundering and terror financing, we came up with this organization called as FATF. And what is the important objective? It has to establish international standards and has to develop and promote policies at national level and at international level to combat these two things, money laundering and terrorism. And if you want to become a member, so country has to have certain criteria. First one is, if any country wants to become a member of this FATF, it should has large population, and second one is it should has large GDP, and third one is it should have good banking and insurance sector. Then only any country can become a member of FATF. So actually today there are around 39 countries which are members of this FATF, and in this FATF we have two lists. One is grey list, one is black list. So grey list is nothing but the countries which are not cooperating with rules and regulations of this FATF, and if they are supporting this terrorism and black money to white money, there is money laundering, then that countries will be placed under this grey list, guys. Okay, and even though after placing in the grey list, if they are not following rules and regulations, for sure, even though they are continuing their support, means that country will be placed in blacklist. In today's world, especially there are three countries which are placed in this blacklist. First one is North Korea, second one is Iran, and third one is Myanmar. So these three countries were placed. So earlier Pakistan was there in now also Pakistan is there in this grey list, not in blacklist. Okay, blacklist. Actually India is saying that we have to keep this Pakistan in this blacklist. So once a meeting will done, so again we can see whether this Pakistan will be placed in this grey list only or whether it will be placed in the blacklist. Okay, so here again you have to think one thing, like if any country is placed in the blacklist, what will be the advantage? So if any country is placed in this blacklist, there will be no financial aid for that country, especially IMF, World Bank and Asian Development Bank, European Union. So they will finance the countries if they are in need. So if any country is placed in blacklist, means they will not get any financial help or aid from these organizations like IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, European Union. And they also face international economic and financial restrictions and sanctions. Okay. So see this article, guys, unreliable air and noise data real-time deception. So here just see about what is the data regarding this air pollution in India and noise pollution in India. And you have to see what are the major causes for air pollution, noise pollution in India. and you have to see which are the bodies which have been formed to combat this noise and air pollution in India, and already what measures government is taking to control that, and next you have to see about way forward. This is your work, guys, because there are lots of articles that you will get regarding this pollution till the end of January, guys. So if you are making notes today, then there is no need of revising that topic, or there is no need of taking that article for me every day. Every day you'll be getting these articles, guys. From now till the end of January. The same thing, stubble burning, air pollution in Delhi, GRAP, certain steps, cloud seeding in Delhi. So everything will come till your end of January. So if I daily teach that, students will think that ma'am knows only that topic. She is every day she's repeating that topic only. She's not taking another topic. I don't want to get that name. So sit today and make notes on this, guys. Air and noise pollution. Clear? So these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindi newspaper. By this I'm concluding, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this class, please do like this video. And one more announcement I want to make here. So we are going to start ethics module from this 25th of October, guys. And the new batch for prelims cum mains foundation is going to be started from this 25th of this October. So you can take online or offline mode. And if you want to get more details regarding this course, you can contact us on this number 8074765513. Or else if you want to meet me directly, you can come to the office which is located in Ashok Nagar, exactly above Vikas Book Center, 2nd and 3rd floor. I will be available in institute from morning to evening. You can come and you can directly talk to me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and you can follow us on our Telegram channel where we are providing PDF of this class, and you can also follow us on our Instagram page where we are providing prelims question with answer, mains question with model answer, and as well as current affairs in short. Don't miss this, guys.